Hi guys, so I watched this new Netflix series, Unbelievable, and this deals with a serial rapist who is caught by two female detectives. And it's apparently based on a true story that happened around 10 years ago in the US. And it's really well made, really well acted. I binged watched it and I recommend it. It has a high rating on IMDb, I believe, a 8.6, which is well deserved. But that series is a very strong feminist and Me Too kind of tinge that, sometimes rub me the wrong way. And so the way the series is done is it follows two main plots, let's say. So the one main plot is the two female detectives as they're looking for the rapist, and the other plot follows one of the victims of the rapist. And that victim is a young woman of 17 or 18. She is a foster child, and she was raped by this guy. And when she filed the police reports, there was a couple of problems involved in that. And in the end, the police said that she was lying, that they didn't believe her, and they actually charged her with filing a false police report, and she had to actually pay a penalty for that. But in the end, of course, it turned out that yes, she was a real victim, and then she sued the city, received a lot of money, and justice was restored. But they made it look like the police officers who did not believe her, like they were some kind of assholes and like some, bad cops who have done like something terrible. But here's the thing, like this woman, so she actually changed her account of what happened 4 times. So she actually gave the police like 4 different versions of what really happened. And anyone who has to do with situations where you have to figure out whether someone is lying or not, like when you're working for the police, then you know that if you're not able to stick to your story, this is a huge red flag. And this is in most cases, that's because you're lying. So anyone who can't stick to their story, in most cases, the overwhelming majority of cases, is a liar, right? But in this case, it turned out that although she couldn't stick to her story, it turned out that she was actually telling the truth in one of those stories, that she was not lying. So this was one of those super, super, super rare cases, right? Where, I mean, who could have known this? And so I'm thinking, that police officer, he had every right, and it was absolutely the logical conclusion for him to assume that she was lying. Like, I could not see where he went wrong, what he did wrong. Like, the only thing that you could say that he maybe was guilty of is that he had not a well enough understanding of of the psychology of a teenager, or who was also had a history of foster care, who that he didn't understand the stress she was under, and 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 what she really wanted. And what she really wanted is just to get over all this thing, to forget it, and to just be happy, as she said. So for that, she was willing to say anything and to do anything just to be left alone by those adults who she felt were pestering her. And this is why she kept giving different versions to the police, right? So who could have understood this? Who could have foreseen this? I mean, this would have taken some master psychologist, to understand that this woman, although she was kept changing her story, that she was really raped. So I really had a hard time understanding where the police officer went wrong. Like, he really did everything correctly. It's just that this was one of those super, super, super rare cases. And yet that series made it somehow portrayed it as if he like fucked up in a huge way, as if he was like the bad cop who was, mistreating this poor teenager, and how could he have done that. No, this was a really complicated thing, so you can't really say directly that, you know, that guy was guilty. She was guilty of that too, because no one forced her to lie. It was her decision. And then chaos ensued when she started lying. Like, just chaos was the consequence. So yeah, and then there was, like, one of the police officers. As I said, the series was really good, but one of the officers, she was like too touchy feely for me. Like, also her tone of her voice was just too like, oh, soft, and oh, I understand so well what you're going through. No, that's actually not what she was saying, but there was that kind of attitude, like this pity, this just this feeling sorry for someone, just this just too much emotion. But yeah, as I said, in general, it was a good story. But as long as you're able to filter out all this like social justice warriorism and this like over the top stupid feminism touch and the Me Too crap, then you're good to go. So yeah, so that's my take on it. Go watch it. It's good entertainment.